I'm just getting warmed up here. No, this isn't Adderall or something. It's just like Adderall. Ugh. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the show called Joey Answers Your Questions, the show. Today we're answering your questions. Porcupine asks, I would like to know whether you have or have had a mentor or role model on your way who influenced you a lot, and how. Role models. I would say the obvious answer to that question is my father, my mother, and my siblings growing up. I have a lot of siblings, a lot of older siblings that have showed me the ropes and inspired me in one way or another. My parents are also extremely smart and deep thinkers, and they have definitely taught me pretty much everything I know. Actually, that's false.
That's a half-truth.
Not everything I know, but they definitely formed how I think about things, and they taught me how to think rather than what to think, which I'm very thankful to have had parents like that. I've had a lot of role models growing up, some fictional and some non-fictional. The fictional ones, I was really inspired by manly men like James Bond and Indiana Jones, just guys who were capable and could get stuff done and didn't back down to anybody. They knew what they believed in. I don't know if that's true for James Bond, but they're just alpha. And I was really inspired by that alpha stereotype. Now, obviously, it's a little extreme, and there's a reason why they're fictional, but I think seeing strong masculine figures, Aragorn from Lord of the Rings, growing up, that really helped me set the tone for the kind of man I want to be. As for non-fictional role models, I've definitely been inspired a lot by Chris Hadfield, which is a Canadian astronaut. He was one of the commanders of the ISS, the International Space Station, kind of a local hero. I read his whole book, An Astronaut's Guide to Life on Earth, and it's one of my favorite books of all time. And it really gives you a glimpse into the life of an astronaut and how much work it takes to become an astronaut. And it's really, really fascinating stuff, and I'd highly recommend it. I was also influenced quite a bit by Jordan Peterson. As sort of like a modern day thinker, I really like the works of C.S. Lewis and G.K. Chesterton and J.R.R. Tolkien, all of the Inklings. Yeah, so there's a lot of people who I really respect intellectually, and that have inspired me and the way that I think and the way I solve problems and the way I just conceptualize the world. So that's an excellent question. Thank you very much. Holy, I'm just bloated. I'm gonna be burping this whole time. And I've barely even eaten anything today. What's going on? I think I pronounced this guy's name Comfort Ahibola last time, and he says, "You just murdered my name, Joey." It's pronounced Ajibola. I'm Nigerian. I'm so sorry. I don't know. It's a pretty difficult name. You almost can't blame me. Camilo. See, now I'm like super nervous to pronounce anyone's name. Camilo Jose says, "Hey Joey, I'd like to hear your take on weed/psychedelics. Greetings from Colombia. Also, your Spanish accent is on point. Are you fluent in Spanish?" Dude, I'm not fluent in Spanish at all, like not even close. I took 2 semesters of Spanish in university, and I've dabbled with Duolingo, so I'm pretty good at pronouncing Spanish words, and I know a lot of Spanish words, but in terms of piecing those words together, yeah, the skill is not there. At one point, the bridge of communication was there at the end of my 2nd semester of Spanish. I could understand, it finally clicked where people would speak in Spanish and I could understand what they're saying, or at least piece together 90% of what they're saying and respond, and it was really exciting, but I didn't keep up the habit of practicing, and that's just a darn shame because it'll take me a lot to get there again. Now, I'm just drawing a blank. There's a bright light here. There's a microphone here. There's a camera there. There's a laptop here. There's another light here and one behind me. And when it's go time, sometimes I have all these exciting things to say, and then the camera starts rolling and my mind is just like... You'd think I'd be good at it at this point, but I'm only human. Sorry, not sorry. As for weed and psychedelics, I don't personally partake in weed or psychedelics. I would say if you are somebody who has not had weed, smoked weed or taken psychedelics, I would say don't. You know, like if you've come this far and you haven't dabbled with it, you don't need to. Just don't. It's not like drugs aren't a good idea. Like I drink alcohol with my friends socially. So weed, it's starting to come to light that it has a similar, you can treat it similarly as you can alcohol. You can have it in moderation with your friends like Joe Rogan. There's like tons of people who smoke weed and are successful, but just with any vice or drug or alcohol or anything like that, any substance, if you're not taking it, don't take it. Like it's not going to improve your life. I don't buy into the fact that like you're guaranteed to have some sort of spiritual awakening from taking psychedelics, because a lot of the time it can just mess you up for the rest of your life. You can just like crack and you have crazy depersonalization, crazy anxiety because of it. It's just not worth it. If you've managed to have some sort of enlightenment from taking psychedelics before, that's great, and maybe you can use that for good, but I feel like there are better ways to kind of break the fourth wall and really see the world in a new light, mainly by studying the works of different philosophers or existentialists. But yeah, I feel like weed, just like alcohol, is fairly useless. It's not going to improve your life at all for most people. Obviously, if you have some sort of medical condition and you're prescribed weed to deal with, you know, crazy anxiety or, you know, pain or something like that, then that's obviously a different story. But I think in the majority of cases, it's not going to help you. So yeah, if you've managed to come this far without doing weed, I'm saying it again, I sound like the biggest white guy ever. If you've managed to come this far without smoking weed or doing psychedelics, I would say just continue to not smoke weed or do psychedelics. I have some crazy parental energy going on right now.
I wish my daddy'd had the parenting skills to do this for me, I tell you what.
Julia, oh man, is this a Polish name? Julia Borcha, I'm so sorry. How to stay consistent with a goal or project, like keeping up a YouTube channel. The biggest thing with staying consistent with any goal or project, especially a YouTube channel, is to not fall prey to perfectionism, because perfectionism is what kills my consistency. You hear all these YouTubers who make great videos, people love their stuff, and then they kind of disappear for a while. It's almost always because they get intimidated by their past work and they don't know how to make a new video that doesn't scare them, or they feel like they need to outdo themselves in the next video. And that's just perfectionism. What you need to do is realize that when you're putting out great stuff, it's because you have a certain amount of talent or skill. And that skill or talent isn't just gonna go away in your next project. Even if you don't give it, you know, 100% of the effort that you gave the last video, it's still gonna have a certain level of quality that people will want to watch. You almost just need to trust yourself and just start working, and trust that if you've been able to make 100 videos that were good before, the 101th video is gonna be pretty good. 101st video, 1th, holy shit. Really beat down that voice inside of you that's the perfectionist, and realize that, I don't wanna sound all Disney, but you have it in you to make great things. So trust that. Harsh Digital says, I struggle a lot with social anxiety. Currently, I'm directing my first feature documentary, and I am always doubting myself in the middle of meetings. I'm confident in my skills as a filmmaker, but I struggle a lot in getting the team to work together. Interpersonal communications make a fun and relaxed environment at the same time. It's funny, I sometimes feel like Michael from The Office because I want to be friendly, but I am also the boss. Combining that with my social anxiety, my mind just goes blank during meetings. Please help me understand how I can control this. By the way, love your videos, bro, and each of your videos constantly exceeded my expectations. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Thank you very much, Harsh Digital. Really appreciate that. That sounded, that whole eyebrow raise made it look like I was insincere about that, but I'm not. Thank you. Sometimes my face just acts against my own will. I totally get where you're coming from. Sometimes conceptually you can understand the game plan and you can trust in your abilities to get something done, but in a group environment, it's really hard to remember that. There's so many different voices going on, so many different opinions, and you kind of lose your mental clarity or your ability to communicate what you had previously inside your head when you were all alone. One thing that's really helped me deal with social anxiety in general is to find different tactics to enter my body, like get out of my mind and into my body. You know, that's what mindfulness is all about. So you're supposed to like sit there, feel your breath come in and out. And you're supposed to focus on your breath. And the reason why you do that is not just some sort of like pseudo-scientific breathing exercise or something like that. The whole point of that is so that you can redirect everything that's going on in your mind, all this crazy noise and all these random thoughts bouncing around, your social anxieties, etc., and redirect it to something very simple and very real. Because in a way, what's happening to your body is a lot more real and substantial than that crazy shit that's going on inside your head. It kind of calms the noise of your entire existence. And I don't want to sound super deep. I don't want to sound like I'm trying to be super deep or anything, but if you have meditated successfully or practiced mindfulness successfully, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. And that calmness can invite mental clarity, it can invite confidence, it can invite just being yourself, you know, rather than being the anxiety. So I'd highly recommend trying to find ways. I mean, you can't just sit there and meditate and close your eyes when everyone's in a meeting and, you know, start breathing. People will be like, you okay, bro?
Everybody sit on the floor.
You can do things like focus for a couple of seconds on, you know, your fingers moving, and like the fact that there's, when you sit down on a cushion or on a chair, there's pressure on your butt. You can feel the pressure and the way it feels for your feet to be on the ground, and really just observe this kind of sensation and redirect all your focus to your feet and scan upwards in your body. Feel the pressure of your butt on the cushion below you. And you can do this kind of thing when you're in a meeting, and it takes a couple of seconds, you know, maybe even 30 seconds when somebody's on a long, boring monologue that you don't care about. This kind of activity can really help you just gain mental clarity and get out of your head and into your body, and then you can just be instinctive with what you say. You can just say what you mean, you can be yourself, and it really helps. So I don't know if this will solve all your problems, but there's one little tip that has really helped me deal with social anxiety in group situations. Gabriel Kovac says, what aspect of life at large smooths your gears? And I've never heard of this phrase in my entire life, but in the last video, I think I said that the word, no, what the f am I saying? In the last video, I said something like, what the hell did I say? Work hard, play hard. I hate that one. Sorry, not sorry. Oh yeah, sorry, not sorry, and work hard, play hard. Those phrases grind my gears. So I think you're referencing that, like what, if that grinds your gears, what smooths my gears? So if that's what you're asking, there are some things in life that really smooth my gears. Hold on, of course I need a burp again. That's a sick burp. It's not COVID. One thing that definitely smooths my gears, if you will, is playing hockey. Specifically, playing in this little 3-on-3 hockey league that I have with a bunch of older guys. And it's just shinny, it's just drop-in hockey, it's really casual. But being on the ice is almost a form of meditation for me. You know, just kind of letting loose, trying to dangle, score goals, be a good teammate in an environment where I'm not really super competitive or anything. I just love the game of hockey, and it really clears my mind and smooths my gears. Eli Schweitzer says, what's your love language? Also hello from your own, also hello from your hometown. Hey Eli, how's it going? Someone below says, are you his brother? Hey, it's me, your brother. Yeah, Eli's my brother. What's my love language? Physical touch and words of affirmation. Those are my two big ones. Gift giving, it's all right. I can do without it. What are some other ones? Quality time, it's all right. It's fine. But physical touch and words of affirmation, That's my happy place. That might already... Why would you ask me that? Why? What? Okay. El Señor Zan says, my question is, drum roll, how did you meet Matt Diavella and Thomas Frank? I met Thomas Frank by asking him a question on Twitter, I think. I sent him a DM wondering something. I can't exactly remember what it was, but I was a pretty small channel then, and he was really well established, but he took the time out of his day to respond to me in detail, and my mind was kind of blown. I'm like, holy smokes, what a nice guy. And then after that, you know, it was sort of back and forth on Twitter over the, you know, next couple of months. And then as for Matt Diavella, Thomas Frank started a Slack channel with a bunch of guys, a bunch of YouTubers, and then Matt and I, like, we had watched each other's stuff, but we had never officially talked or anything. But through that Slack channel, yeah, we were able to just like catch up, and you know, we've played Call of Duty together and stuff, and it's great. Thomas Frank being a beauty is the reason why I met him and Matt Diavella. Words of affirmation. Rahil Atre. So, I'm not laughing at your name, I'm laughing at my inevitable mispronunciation of your name. Hey Joey, thank you man for making the subreddit. I honestly think it's going to be a great way to connect with one another in the community, and love seeing these AMA style videos. What is some advice you would give to people who want to get better at filmmaking? Now this is a question I'd love to answer. But first, the burp. What am I eating that's making me burp so much? It's all the protein probably. First of all, if you're watching this video and you haven't joined the subreddit yet, it's looking pretty dead. Someone post a meme in there or something. I know my brother has a bunch of better ideas memes he's just hoarding away, waiting to release into the world. There was one posted on the Facebook page that was absolutely hilarious, which was the chef's hat one where I'm going like this in the rut video. It was great, it made my day. So yeah, hop on the subreddit, the link will be in the description, and start contributing stuff, because once there's enough posts on there, I'm not gonna really look at them until I do a video like this and I wanna react to a bunch of stuff on the subreddit. So there is a golden chance that you're going to be on the next video or the subreddit video if you post the subreddit now, because there's like no content there. So the chances are pretty high. As for how Rahil can get better at filmmaking, the number one, I mean, you probably heard this a billion times, but you just have to start making stuff, and making weird stuff, and making stuff that's outside of your comfort zone. So Hank Green is part of the Vlogbrothers, famous YouTuber. He put out a video about his work ethic and like how he puts out so much content, and his philosophy really changed the way I viewed putting out content. So he talks about this idea that when he makes a project and he wants to make it 100% perfect, it's like the first 80% blows by really quickly. You can get to 80% perfect really, really quickly, but it's trying to get that last 20% perfect that takes the most amount of time, exponentially longer than that first 100% or first 80%. So what he started doing is just put out videos at 80%, because at 80% they were already pretty good. And you know, people like his videos at 80%, so that the next time he makes a video, he makes it at 80% effort, and he keeps on putting videos, like making crazy amounts of videos, video after video, month after month, year after year at 80%. But what happens is you get really, really good at making videos the more videos that you make. And that 80% effort 3 years down the road is far better than the 100% effort that you tried to get 3 years ago. If that makes sense. I'm explaining this really confusingly. But basically with volume, you get better quicker. I don't know if I explained that like an absolute whack job, but basically make as much videos as possible, make as many videos as possible. Don't care if they're perfect, just keep on making them. Make something, move on. Make something, move on. Yeah, don't let perfectionism stunt you. Johnny Guy says, if you had the chance to portray a character in a Lord of the Rings trilogy reboot, which character would it be? By the way, this question is all the way from Fiji. Bula! Johnny Guy, that's the weirdest question anyone's ever asked me, but I love it. Who would I be? Legolas. Wissam Al-Dardari says, do you see yourself making videos in general when you get older? It's just weird to think that YouTubers are going to be 50 years old at some point, and it's interesting to see what would change. How would you picture that? I'm probably not going to be making videos when I'm 50. I feel like YouTube, I'm really enjoying it so far. It's really meaningful for me right now, and I got really, really lucky with my channel. I'm going to try to use it as a launch pad for projects that I'm really, really passionate about. I know that I really want to get into long form documentaries on certain topics. Maybe some of those documentaries I can even post in on the Better Ideas channel. I really want to get into feature films. I really want to do some meaningful projects, and hopefully my YouTube success can help me, you know, launch that career as well. And maybe if it's like the perfect storm, I can take you guys along with me on that journey. But I feel like being just a YouTuber, especially if you're just a self-improvement YouTuber, it's almost hard to take yourself seriously or for anyone else to take you seriously, because if you're not doing anything else with your life, then how can you instruct people to live successfully? All you do is YouTube, right? That's how I feel sometimes. I'm trying to keep busy with other projects, being as artistic as possible, at least putting in a great deal of effort into my main channel videos and seeing where that effort takes me. Maybe I can move on to more meaningful and artistic projects. Maybe I can educate myself more, because life exists outside of YouTube. And if I can succeed at life outside of YouTube, then maybe I can be qualified to instruct people on YouTube. But if I'm just doing YouTube, it's like, it's almost paradoxical. I'm abandoning life itself to make advice about life. And that's just stupid. Yes, touch my spaghetti says, I seem to lose my motivation for working out way too easily. I used to hit the gym 5 to 6 times a week for 2 years, but I stopped due to work. And since then, it's on and off. Did I just spit?
No.
It's on and off. It's an on and off relationship. There's the burp again. Do you have any tips so I can get back at it strong? Love your videos, by the way. Well, thank you. Yes, touch my spaghetti. I would say get past the 2-week mark. Seems simple. I mean, make an effort to go, let's say 5 days a week. I wouldn't say go 3 days a week, because I find that if you only go 3 days a week, the amount of off time that you have makes you lazy again. So try to put in a 5-day week of going to the gym, and get a habit tracker app. Make sure that you click off or like check off the habit after going to the gym. You don't even have to have a good workout, just go. But I find that it actually helps you to try to have a good workout, because then you can feel good about yourself. And if you do that for 2 weeks in a row, I find, at least for me, that is the threshold in which I start to become a gym rat again. If I can go 5 days in a week, 2 weeks in a row, then all of a sudden I start to notice that my muscles are feeling more firm again. I feel more energy again, and I really want to make it that 3rd week, and it really helps propel me. So I would say, rather than try to just be consistent at the gym forever and ever and ever, just try to be consistent at the gym for 2 weeks, 5 days a week, 2 weeks in a row, and get the habit tracker, check off the habit, and you'd be surprised how setting the bar, not criminally low, but fairly low like that, really helps just project you into the future, and you might become a gym rat again.
It means setting small, reasonable goals for yourself, one day at a time. One tiny step at a time.
Baby steps.
But I'm kind of struggling with the same thing, to be honest. Like, ever since the quarantine, I've been not as stoked about going to the gym as I was before the quarantine. My brain had this association of just loving being at the gym, but since I hadn't gone to the gym for, what, 4 months because of quarantine, I forgot that feeling. So I'm trying to also develop that positive association with going to the gym again, and I'm getting there, but yeah, it is tough. So just stick with it, and you and I are in this together, so let's do it. Oh, that's sweet. Ari Noose says, I have a question. What is your most fabulous memory of all time? It's a very simple memory. I remember I was in grade 11, and I rented a campsite at a place called Haywire Bay with my friends. And it was the first time I'd ever rented a campsite by myself. It was a taste of independence. It was a hot summer. It was a hot summer weekend. And I just remember that was like one of the first times I felt like a man rather than a boy. You know, I was there with my friends. I booked the campsite myself. I invited them over. We had a good time. And the single moment that felt so nice to me was I was on the beach with my friend Joseph, and it's a nice sandy beach, hot summer. And I remember just laying in the sand and I felt complete. And it's like it's a weird thing to describe, but I remember just lying there in the sand and not wanting or needing anything else. I just felt really at peace. And it's funny, like looking back on that, it's a good reminder that sometimes the best things in life aren't euphoric or crazily stimulating or super exciting. Sometimes it is just forgetting your worries or your anxieties and just soaking in the peace of the waves hitting the shore or something. Yeah, I was just totally calm. And that's one of my best memories of all time. Eli again says, who's your favorite Schweitzer? And Sarah says, obviously me. My favorite Schweitzer is me. Thanks so much for watching. Catch you in the next one. This will be hit up the subreddit. This is gonna be a fun little series that I'm looking forward to doing more of because I have fun doing these. I can just kind of kick back and relax and answer some of these questions. So if you want to be answered in the next one, just comment below and I will answer them in the next one. What more is there to say? See you later.